Hey Paul, hey Peter, hey John. Bedtime already. David, g'day. Matt, Ross, Stuart, Mark, Aussie Rob, g'day. Thanks guys. Was browsing Marketplace and that never ever ends well, so you're probably best to interrupt me to come and live stream. It's never good. Anyway, gosh, I spent the weekend sort of recovering from last weekend. It's still not 100%, but I got there. And I did a whole lot of things that weren't particularly productive. Hey, Ross again. Didn't I already say Ross? G'day. This is coming along all right, all these patterns. I think Dan's on holiday. Hey, Frank. So he's probably sitting with his wife and he probably doesn't want to listen to live stream because I may say things that she disapproves with. She disapproves of. So probably best if Dan doesn't. But these are for his Roby engine. That's the final one. I'm going to cast them on their side in brass, yellow brass, I think. This is some patterns, really. Morning, James. No, just plenty of paint on them and lots of elbow grease. Hey, was there's a run in here, but you can't see it unless you really look. There we go. Runs all over them, but they'll do. So that's the pattern to make another one of them for a friend, with one missing. This is the new lever, which is sort of what it should look like from the drawing, as opposed to the old lever, which is just ugly, basically. It's already been welded up a couple of times, but they're turkey dirty, and this is just a handmade ugly looking thing. So it's a new lever. I think it's about right. It's a fair bit lighter than the old one, but it won't hurt. However that goes. And this piece, which is, we've decided to just make a new one of these. It's the easiest and quickest way, is this broken piece here. This is 1/2 inch gas, and of course I haven't got a 1/2 inch gas tap. Hey Dan. So I'm going to borrow a rig or pinch one, make one of them up, and 3 castings made up for a friend's engine. These bits we're still working on, they're all a bit ugly. This sits, must go this way up, I think. And this one goes in here, which operates with a gland on it, which lifts the valve, which is under this seat here. That valve there goes in there, and that goes under here, which has got a guide bush in it for the control rod. Now this screws on here like so, that way up, I believe. and that lever operates on there and on the fork. When you pull it, it opens the valve. The other one, which we made this nut for, has just got basically a tapered valve in there with a rod that still needs manufacturing to go between there and the handle, and that's just an isolator. Yeah, I wonder about you and Yowies. It was probably Christian. Anyway, so this is already pretty much, this stuff should, I hope, be ready on probably next Tuesday to get everything cast. That's the theory. And hopefully get it all back together pretty quick, because we're running against time on this one. I ain't got time to get it going, but we will. But I think it'll be alright. I think it'll be good. I've ordered a bit of bronze for this shaft. I think that's probably best rather than brass. I've got plenty of brass, but I think I'm going to make it out of bronze because this one's worn out. Don't know whether it's worn out or whether it's just been not sealing properly and someone's had a pair of vice grips on it trying to tighten it up. I'm really not sure. Neither of those things are probably I'm suspicious that both those possibilities are absolute possibilities. So, ordered a bit of half-inch bronze to make that. So we'll braise it up. We've got a new bottle of gas, so we can silver solder this to there and fit the handle up. Cleaned all these pins up, which are a bit ugly. So, and it should be alright. This bit back on the roller would be good. This bit back on the roller too would be also good, but we can fit that and take it off again without too many problems. So if we don't get a return on that, we won't, but we might get it done, I think. Alright, all bits that need doing. Not enough hours in the day to do them, but we're getting through. Sort of. Anyway, we'll get that going. I spent an inordinate amount of time on this, and I don't feel like I'm anywhere near done with it, to be honest. It's not like I've got anything else to do. But made a pressure test rig, basically, for this cylinder head. Hooked it up to the air compressor, just with an O-ring seal on 3 bolts. Messed around with the lap and the valves, and messed. I've got a few leaks. I've got less leaks than I had. It really wasn't very good at the start of the weekend, and at the end of the weekend it's still not real good, but it's a whole lot better. So I've been trying to, there's several things here. One is to get the valves lapped nice so that they actually work. It's got oil all over it so it doesn't go rusty. So they seal all around and they don't leak. We're still blowing little bubbles out here. But my airbrush air compressor has got about 5 psi between when it cuts out and the pressure switch and when it drops back enough to cut back in. At between 60 and 65. So at 65 it drops out and at 60 it cuts back in. It's taken about 30 seconds to bleed back down that 5 psi. So that's a lot better than like 4 or 5 that it was when I first put it together. I think they just need a bit more lapping. I've been having a bit of a go with Brasso, which seems to be good. But in between, I mean, it's a bit of a process because by the time you lap them and then clean everything and then ultrasonic and then clean everything again and oil everything up and put it all back together and put it back on the test rig and go out and pressure test it again, it may or may not be better. And then you come and do it again. So it's a bit of a process and you've got to take it all apart. But it doesn't as yet pass the bubble test, and when we do, we'll move on to the next thing. I really didn't have a day to mess around with this, or two days, I guess, to mess around with this, but that's what happened. Anyway, be very nice to get that right. So that's about all I've done this weekend. Anyway, that's it for tonight. What's everyone else up to? Dan's on holidays. Probably buying shit. 10 biscuits, good day. I'm trying not to buy shit, basically. Avoiding all like the plague, the process of purchasing things. But we'll see. Ross is drinking a turn. Dan's got an armed guard with him, so he's not buying anything. Yeah. So, a good record player will definitely be an upgrade, Dan. You need a record player. Anyway, I realise when I've got this half done, yeah, I didn't see that or hear about that. She's obviously not listening. I don't think she knows about it yet. I realised that I haven't drilled the 2 holes in there for the studs for the flange. She knows. That's right, eh? Frank Ward's building tool cabinets. You can't have too many of those. So this little flange goes on here, and I haven't drilled the 2 holes in there, which is a bit of a problem because you're going to get grit everywhere again, and I'm going to have to start again. So that's next time I pull this down to do the valves, I'm going to do that. Gosh. So anyway, I'm not really feeling the love. As far as actually getting things done, but sort of we've got a deadline. It's only a month away or something like that, or 3 weeks or something. I don't know. It's 3 weeks. Gosh. And we better get into it. I've done quite a lot, but it's starting to get on top of me a bit, to be honest. No time for anything else. Just gotta put this away for a couple of weeks, I think, and get in and get all these bits back together. See what we can do. What are my plans for the coming week? Get these to the foundry, get them built, get this shaft made, go to work for 4 of the coming days, and then Sunday get all these patterns and everything all ready to go. I think I'm probably going to take Monday off because I haven't got enough time in the day or hours in the week. And if I can get everything back together except the castings, then I can get these cast on Tuesday. Then the next week I can drill some holes in this piece and mill it out, and drill some holes in this piece here and mill it out. And we can probably get all this back together and working, which would be a definite improvement on what we had. So that's kind of how it is. There's valve springs that didn't work, so there's quite a selection of those, just in case anyone was wondering. The intake spring I've got still a bit strong for this. This is kind of a difficult thing. This is a fracture, probably 1 coil too long. But if you go too short with it, the length's kind of a bit critical. Because if you go too short with it, then it doesn't have enough poke at the end of the stroke to pick it back up against the seat. And it doesn't want much more than just to be held against the end of the seat, because the vacuum in the cylinder won't suck it in. Hey JB. Stretch the spring a bit and messed around with that. It just gets a bit ugly, so it's easy. I've got plenty of wire. Just make another one until we get them right. This one I think is pretty well spot on. I don't know if we can focus on that. You can see a shiny line all around the valve where I think they're probably sort of sealing, and a shiny line all around the seat. Don't know if you can see that or not. There we go. Shiny line. So I think they're getting very close, but still a lot of messing around. Don't know how airtight my spark plug is either, to be honest. So I'll put that old glow plug in there because I know that one's going to be water airtight. It's not blowing bubbles. There's a lot of complicated little brackets and things for this that I'm really procrastinating. So until then, better get some steam engine bits done. JB's making progress on the house. If I had nothing else to do, I'd get in and make a heap of these studs. Need a quantity of these. Bit of work in them. There's 6 that length and 6 a bit longer, and then 4 bigger ones, and Yeah, there's quite a lot of those. Then of course they all want nuts for them, so there's a few of them as well. If anyone wants a job, get in and make some studs and nuts. That of course is for the Bay of Peacock engine. Outsource the studs, they're their fun job. Half-inch woodwork studs, they're not a big deal to make them, to be honest. It's not, once you get in, you'd make them in a weekend very easily. Just a matter of making a start on them. And at this point in the life of the engine, we've got to really get it on a bonfire somewhere and see if we can get some of them out. Get a couple of studs out and some bolts in, we can probably push the cylinder right out the bottom. Get the part. See how we go with that. Also got to make an expanding lap for this cylinder. That's another job that needs doing at some point. I've sort of worked out what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it, and the way to do it. Just a matter of spending some time in making that. And I've got these pieces here to make an outside lap for the cylinder, so that's another job. I've got all the bits to do that, I just got to sit down and do it. Honestly, life's too short. So what am I doing this weekend, or this week? As much of that stuff as I can possibly get done without looking too hard at any of this. Priority at the moment is to get this valve back together. That's what we got to do. Somehow. But it's a whole lot better than it was. It's actually shiny and you can tell that it's metal and looking half decent. Apart from that, I'm pretty tired, to be honest. I'm sort of exhausted. Have at this point made this straight. It should have a bend in this end here, right? What I'm probably going to do is warm it up and tap it round with a hammer. There, and then warm it up again and tap it straight, so it's got a bit of offset. It's only sort of, this one's been done up here, which is really ugly, but that's about how much offset it's supposed to have. This is just awful. Sorry guys. Apologies to whoever restored the roller last time, but who put something like this on there? It's just ugly. But this, I've got a drawing for this. I found a drawing, and we're just going to try and make it as close to the drawings as we can. Here's the new nut. That looks a whole lot better than the 90s hardware store abomination that was on it. And yeah, all the bits. If we can get that somewhere near, we'll be doing good. Not properly exhausted yet, but I'm sort of feeling that after this road run at the end of the month, we are having a road run at Shenandoah. Anyone who's interested in a pub night and a road run, giving us a hand, steering a road roller, come along and learn a bit about running it, polishing some brass, all those sort of things. Driving an escort vehicle, whatever your level or whatever you're up to. You want some fun and you're in northern New South Wales. You've got camping gear. Come along for the weekend. Open invitation. It's pub night and pretty good fun. Last weekend in November, I think. Hope that's right. Dan will correct me if it's not. But after the road run, I think we're probably going to mothball this thing for a couple of months. This is what gives me panic attacks. It seems like by the time the road wreck comes, which is only a couple of weekends away, by the time we got through the road run, we're only a month out from Christmas, right? I have invitations to events through June and July next year already. And with each of those brings a whole new series of deadlines and things that need to be done before we get there so that we can keep on track with this thing. And someone mentioned that getting a bit obsessed with this roller, and I apologise if I am, but if you don't keep on to the maintenance and keep a little bit of restoration, we never get ahead. If we do nothing, we get behind, and if we just keep up the rest, like the maintenance, then that's a full-time job. And if we want to get ahead with the restoration a little bit, jobs like this that really need doing, that's extra load. I mean, that's workload on top. So realistically, you've got to be a bit focused on the thing, and I sort of feel like I'm more focused on it than anything I have been for a long time. But there's the Petrie Steam weekends, first weekend in June, which is my birthday. I don't know, you see, because then there's Glen Ray's only like a month or so after that. We missed the Jacaranda Festival, which was this last weekend, because we just pushed it aside. Not going to happen. Not in a million years. But as soon as I get this back on the roller, there are other bits that are going to come off and come home. So there's going to be a continual procession of bits like this that need to be fixed. That are sort of working, but only just. I mean, they're flogged out. They're like this, right? No excuse for that. And we need a better machinery than that. So, that's without even looking at this thing. And to be honest, I'd like an afternoon every week on it anyway while I'm doing the other stuff, just to keep my bit focused and straight and narrow on it and get things done. But you'll see a little bit of progress every week, but we need to get some other stuff done as well. Anyway, who had a video out this week? What exciting things are happening? It's one from JB. There will probably be one from Dan Shed about his new tractor when he gets it home. Did I see one from Container Steam Workshop? Not sure about that. See one from James B? Probably. No, I don't think so. Weather's a bit bipolar here too, to be honest. It's stinking hot at the moment. It's a bit cooler today, but yesterday was a stinker, and Monday was a stinker. Sunday was a stinker. And pretty warm, pretty lucky to have this air conditioning on sometimes. So that's where we're at. It just seems like on the drawing there's less than 10 numbered parts to finish on this engine, but there's a lot of work. There's a lot of work in those 10 parts. So, and as for this stud, it's here as a reminder on this nightmare everything. I've got drawings to download when I've got to the point that I know that everything's ready for the road run weekend. I might download those drawings. From the Science Museum about this engine. I'm not sure if they're even relevant to this engine, but we'll have a look at them in a bit bigger resolution than the thumbnails that they sent through. So when I know that everything's ready for the road run, I'll drop some money on them. Bill found his notes. That's excellent. Always like a video from Bill. Lots of very cool stuff going on. I've had 3 questions this week, right? Is there a tool making competition? No, there isn't. There we go. That's a flat out no, because I don't have time. I'd very much like to organise something, but it ain't going to happen this year. It's not going to happen before Christmas. And at this point, don't know. It's very cool. Been using that, James. Made this nut. Look at that. Single point threaded. Look at that. 1 inch 14. Beautiful. And springs. Been using it for springs as well. I would very much like to get that finished too at some point. Hasn't happened. Not even a little bit. Not even at all. This. I've got some of this. I don't know if this is the answer or not. Got some acrylic tube. Look at that. Nice. I got 2 lengths because that's how it came. But probably make a little oiler for this somehow like that. Cut a short bit. There's some way of doing that. And dressing the ends of it, making a cap. So that's another job. Chris, good evening. Yeah, you could use the full length. I think it's probably going to crack and bend and break and not work properly. Anyway, make a nice little order for that, I guess. That's another job. But there's a weekend's work in that, if we're going to be honest with ourselves. What else? I was just 1,000 projects all kicking around here. This is a dip stop for the mill, the y-axis on the mill that's broken through there, and through the top. It should look something like this, with a bolt in the top to tighten it, and then a screw there. It's been broken for a long time, as long as I can ever remember. It's been sitting on a shelf with the mill. I think it probably will come home in a pocket when we picked up the mill because it was broken then. So if I get a bit of cast iron or a bit of steel and make one of those, it's another job I wouldn't mind doing. I also want to put a DRO on that mill because it's a pretty useful thing to have, and it's a bit of a pain without it. In all spare time, we can get in and make some Whitworth nuts. Watches. Well, we've got a Gruen. It's not a very thin. It's a Gruen, very thin. There you go, missing the crown. Probably got the bits for it somewhere. Nice little watch. Probably never go again. I don't know. I really would like to sit down and get that one going. That's a nice watch, but it's seen better days. Got a half decent glass. I think I've got a new glass and a new crown for it somewhere. But gosh, look at my poor fingers. There we go. We got Ingersoll Mickey. There we go. This was going. I restored this beautiful watch. Lent it to my sister and she stopped it. She's one of those people. It hasn't really run since properly. So that's another job I really wouldn't mind getting going. It's Ingersoll, it's a 44 or 46, something like that. Nice watch. What else is here? See that? That's something you never ever mess around with. Got one of these on the bench at work and I hate the things passionately. It's my Boulevard Aquatron. Could do with a jump start probably. Probably should take that to work and get it going. And rip curl or something that's Billabong or Maxim or a rip curl, which isn't much good for anything. Anyway, Higby threads. What are Higby threads? I should know what they are. Seriously, it's a glass. This one's probably a fancy crystal if you really want to know, but look, blunt start threads, yes, I know what you mean. Someone watching one of these on eBay, keep watching it and don't sort of look. If it's going, it's probably worth doing something with. If it's not going, forget it, like basically. And as the years go past, there's more and more of them that aren't going. So they're sort of reaching the end of their useful life, to be honest. Poor old thing. That's a 2.8. Oh gosh, what model is it? $283. Gosh, I can't remember. That's just a plain Acrotron. If you can find a space for you, that's really nice. If you find one that's going, but you'll spend $1,500, $2,000, $3,000 on one. And I don't know if they're worth that. You've got to be pretty passionate about Bolivar Acrotrons. And the cool story, they're a little bit cool. It's a tuning fork watch, which means it's got like a trembler coil in it with two electromagnets that move basically a set of pulls backwards and forwards on a ratchet wheel is how it works. Pretty much a dog of a thing. Anyway. It's Tuesday. I'm hoping you're having a good one, Bill. It's another one of those stupid things that I collect that I probably should get rid of. I don't know. I'm going to try and find a light up here somehow. In the corner. I guess everyone's seen this collection in the corner. Wasn't as relaxing as you thought. You did really well because it wasn't the easiest one you could have picked either, to be honest. James, if we're going to go there, you did pretty well because it wasn't an easy watch either. Can you hear me now? Is that better? Yeah, sorry. These are something else that I kind of like and I can't afford anymore because the price of these have jumped excessively, like really excessively in the last 5 years or so. And I can't afford good examples of these. That's a really good idea. James, thanks for that. Good examples of these. Where is it? Is that better? Good example of these are almost impossible to get. And things like look in that door there.